Hi, today I'm going to discuss with you how to find the volume of a rectangular prism using cubes. Okay, I have here a rectangular prism that I made up using cubes. If you're going to look at this side, we can say this is the length of the prism, this is the width of the prism, and this is the height of the prism. If you're going to look at the length, it is composed of just the bottom layer. It is composed of one, two, three, four cubes. And if you're going to look at the width of this prism, just the bottom layer, it is composed of one, two cubes. And if you are going to look at the height, just one layer from top to bottom, we count one, two, three cubes. So the length is composed of four cubes, the width is composed of two cubes, and the height is composed of three cubes. We are just getting the bottom layer for the length, the bottom layer for the width, and one layer for the height. So if we are going to count, that is four, that is two, and that is three. Now, how many cubes do you think make up this rectangular prism? If I am going to count, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then on the other side, since there are only two here on the width, that is 12 here, and it is also 12 on this side. So that is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So therefore, this rectangular prism is made up of 24 cubes, okay, or cubic units. Now, let us find out if there are really 24. Let's try to disassemble this. How many cubes do you see? There are six. And how many cubes do you see here? There are also six. So 6 plus 6 is 12. And another 6, that is 18, and another 6, that is 24. So therefore, this rectangular prism with a length of 6 cubes, as I have introduced to you a while ago, this has a length of 6 cubes, just the bottom layer. We have one, two, three. No, it has 4 cubes. One, two, three, four. And then we have here one, two, and then one, two, and three. And all in all, as we have counted, this prism is made up of 24 cubes. Now, let's relate the length, the number of the length, the number of cubes for the width, and the number of cubes for the height. How many cubes do you see at the bottom layer for the length? There are four. How many cubes do you see for the bottom layer of the width? There are two. And how many cubes do you see for one layer for the height? There are three. So how are we going to relate the four, the two, and the three to get 24? What will you do with the four, with the two, and the three to get a result of 24? What do you think? Do we add the four, the two, and the three? Or we are going to multiply the 4, the 2, and the 3. Let's find out. What is 4 plus 2? 6 plus 3, 9. So it won't give us 24. How about if you're going to multiply? What is 4 times 2? It is an 8, right? 8 times 3. It is 24. Am I right? So therefore, to find the volume of a rectangular prism, we multiply the length, the width, and the height. 4 for the length, 2 for the width, and 3 for the height. So besides from counting the actual cubes that make up the prism, we can use the formula length times width times height for the volume of rectangular prism. Now let's find out if you understood my discussion. I have here another cube. Besides, or instead of counting all the cubes that make up this prism, look at the length, the bottom layer. How many do you see? And the width, the bottom layer. How many do you see? And from the top to the bottom, just one layer. How many cubes do you see? Okay, so let's find out. This is a 3, this is a 2, and this is a 2. So we multiply 3 times 2 is 6. Times 2 is 12. Let's find out if this rectangular prism is actually made up of 12 cubes. So I'm going to separate them just to prove that there are 12. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So, if a rectangular prism is made up of cubes without any given dimension, what are you going to do again for the length? Are you going to count, like for example, are you going to count all the cubes that make up the length? No, just count the bottom layer to represent the length. Because it's not, we are not asking on how many cubes are there, just the length. And for the width, just count how many cubes are at the bottom. And for the height, count how many cubes from the top to the bottom, just one layer, because they are of the same height. We are not going to count everything. And we use the formula length times width times height. Okay? Is there any question? What is the formula in solving for the volume of a rectangular prism? If there are no given dimensions, no length, no width, no height, but instead the rectangular prism is made up of cubes, how are you going to solve for the volume of that rectangular prism? What are you going to do? Are you going to count all for the length? Are you going to count all for the width? Are you going to count all for the height? Okay? Length is one bottom layer, with just one bottom layer, and the height just one layer. Okay, I hope this video helps you understand how to find the volume of a rectangular prism using cubes or using the formula V equals length times width times height. Okay, thank you for listening and watching my video.